Hello, my name is Minty McIver and this is Kevin McIver of Multimac. Firstly, we're really excited to announce that we are now approved to the latest standards R129. And in this video, we're going to talk a bit about what that means and how it might affect us and you.
Yes, you probably know that R44 has been discontinued from September this year, and all new child seats sold have to be approved to the new regulation R129. There's quite a bit of confusion about it, so what we're trying to do here is to explain very simply the details. First of all, a bit of history. The first child seat legislation appeared in 1980 and it has been progressively updated since. The rules are actually set by what is known as the European Crash Test Committee, which meets every 6 months to discuss and update. And this committee comprises people from the legislators, people from the test houses, and people from industry. New rules appear as annexes to the main rule until there are so many annexes that a new series is introduced. So we initially had R4401. This was followed by R4402, R4403, and finally R4404, which was published in 2004.
In 2013, a new regulation called R129 came into effect, based around the new ISOFIX system. Initially, this was for rear-facing seats and for children up to 4 years old only. So R4404 continued to cover any non-ISOFIX seats. R12902 was then introduced in 2017 to include the high back booster, which uses the ISOFIX points to locate it and the car's lap and diagonal buckle to take the weight. The idea of this was to eventually outlaw the backless booster.
Alongside this, new dummies called Q series were introduced to more typically represent a child's body and to enable more parameters to be measured. They were fitted with 32 sensors, whereas the original P series dummies only had 4 sensors. This meant that we could measure lateral movements and, more pertinently, during a crash test, the dummy's head and body flings forward, and we used to measure just how far the head moved and the chest decelerations. With the new dummies, after the crash, the dummy's head rebounds and hits the back of the seat, and we can now measure that force.
Finally, in December 2018, R12903 was introduced, and this was to test non-ISOFIX seats, i.e. seats that are held in using the car's lap and diagonal seat belts, for older children up to 1.35 and 1.5 metres tall, which is typically a 12-year-old. These tests were done using the new dummies, and then it was realised that R129 now covered the whole age and size range from 0 to 12 using this new comprehensive testing. Therefore, the original R4404 could be phased out.
Seats tested to 4404 are still safe and can be used for the foreseeable future, and certainly until your child outgrows them. For example, seats tested to 4403 could still be used 20 years later, while 4404 was current.
This really is all you need to know, but here we've tabulated the main differences between R4404 and R129.
With R4404, the seat chosen was determined by the child's weight and age.
With R129, it's determined using the child's height and age.
4404 allowed children to forward face from 9 months or 9 kilograms.
With R129, children can't forward face until they're 15 months and 87 centimetres.
4404 had no side impact testing.
R129 does have side impact testing.
4404 used the P series of dummies with just 4 sensors.
R129 uses Q dummies, which have 32 sensors.
With 4404, there was no limit on the size of a child's seat, so you could conceivably buy a child seat for your child's weight or age and then find it wouldn't fit your car.
With an I-size seat, they have a maximum volume, so you know if it is I-size approved and your car is I-size approved, it will easily take this child seat.
There are a number of seats which are called convertible, so they can either go forward facing or rear facing, and under 4404 these can be held in with the adult seat belt, and you can have one route for the seat belts when it is rear facing. And to help you, the belt guides are coloured blue. And then when you go forward facing, you use belt guides which are coloured red.
With R129, you're only allowed one seatbelt route, and this is coloured green for both rear and forward facing.
With 4404, to change the height of the harness as your child grows, you can unthread it through the slots in the back of the seat and rethread them through a higher slot and reconnect them up to the pull cord.
With R129, rethreading is not allowed. You'll generally find that the harnesses are attached to the headrest, which moves up and down, so this is adjusted as they grow. As far as Multimac is concerned in relation to these differences, number 1 and 2, our Minimac rear-facing seat, has always been suitable up to 18 months old.
Number 3, we've always done fantastically well in side impact tests because the Multimac is built like the Volvo SIPS system, side impact protection system, and it's like a structural beam across your car.
Number 4, we've passed all the tests with the new Q dummies.
We mentioned that with the Q dummies, you now measure the force when the child's head bounces back, which wasn't done before. And in fact, we were quite close to the limit with one of the 4 dummies. And normally with Multimac, we're well within the parameters. So we've redesigned the seat back with a new, very expensive energy absorbing foam. So we now get an exemplary performance for all dummy sizes.
Number 5 doesn't apply to us as we have a list showing which Multimac fits in every car. Number 6 doesn't apply to us either.
At number 7, our patented Adjustamac seat height adjustment system predates this legislation by 20 years. So, if you have an existing Multimac, you can continue using it, knowing you still have the safest seat option available for your children.
I really hope this has helped explain everything and clear up any confusion you may have had around R129. If you have any questions at all or just want to talk it through, please do give us a call or send us an email.